Lexi is a really powerful filmmaker who is hopefully gonna step in and stop mobbing in his M6 or whatever he has, and continue making films. Really talented guy, really talented guy.
MySpace back in the day.
Yeah. I think he was in like 16. He was like a high school football player who wanted to be a filmmaker.
Cool.
And, he's a great kid. And his
doing
sister,
an AFI seminar with Munster.
Yes, his sister is a great actress. Is really funny. And I do watch all your stuff, Ariana, just so you know.
We're back on here live.
Do an AFI seminar on Monster.
Yeah, can you do that?
I would love to do that. I would love to bring Monster to AFI. It would mean a lot to me. I was at AFI. I was with Michelangelo Antonioni at AFI watching a reprint of L'Avventura at AFI with Jim Hosny. I was working for Antonioni. This is like probably 1997 or 97 or 8. And I didn't go to AFI. I went to USC, but my mother taught there, and I always felt like that was the school to be at.
AFI?
It was, yeah. It was a really.
What did she teach?
My mother was a screenwriter, and my mother was a really brilliant writer. And one of the reasons why I'm not a writer is because she taught me and really instilled in me this concept that you're either a director or a writer. You have to pick.
That's back in the day, though.
Don't be both. Don't be both.
Don't be both. But you're such a writer.
No, I don't think I'm a writer. I just think that like I have respect for the craft, and I want to like work with a writer, you know?
Yeah.
Because there's nothing more lonely than sitting there watching that little cursor blink. It's lonely. I mean, I watched my
Give
mother.
Me some more of that.
I watched my mother. My mother wrote. My mother we'd get up and my father would cook breakfast. My mother would make a pot of coffee, and she'd go into her office at like 8:30 in the morning, close the door every day.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And that was her thing. She'd leave the office and she'd go away for weekends, and she had a way of isolating herself. And she really instilled in me this concept of the preciousness of writing. And it's a hard craft. I think many people are paid a lot of money to write that aren't great writers. And I think that there's too many directors that want to write and writers that want to direct. And I think we all need to respect each other's lines a little bit, you know?
Well, it's interesting because I realized almost every actor on set was a writer, right? Everyone was like, everybody came with ideas. Everybody said that they were a writer. Everybody wants to do it. Everybody's got, I think they all have something to say. Everybody's got a story they want to tell.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's unrealistic to think that you can be a writer and a director. There's very few. There really is. Only a handful. And I think it's good to focus on one craft or the other, because there's too much to think about as a director and too much to think about as a writer, you know. And I find that I wrote my own thesis films and they weren't good, you know, and I wrote other films and it was better when I worked with writers. Like, I think a director's job is to learn how to communicate with writers and respect what they do and figure out how to sculpt it, because a script is a script, right? And a film is part of a script.
Right.
You know, and it's that beautiful synergy of all those things coming together that is the power of what we're talking about. You know, you can't, actors alone aren't a film. A script alone isn't a film, right? A cameraman alone it's all of the ingredients that sort of make the sauce at the end. And sometimes like just not, it's being a director is such a funny role, because you know, I do believe that being aggressive and being bullish and being a leader and being a commander is part of it. But at the same time, it's also about getting out of the way, right? And it's that sort of finite thing that sometimes you're good at and sometimes you're not.
I always, you know? I loved working with you as a writer. What was, I think, interesting is, you know, my philosophy also, because as a director myself, I think it's a director's medium. Like, I'm the screenwriter, my screenwriting's done, my screenplay's done, but when it goes to the director's got notes. It's like, okay, now we're making your movie.
Are we on here?
Right? I mean, I think we are. Just nobody jump back on.
Weird.
Where'd everybody go? Live chat. Remember to guard your privacy. I hope so. I don't know what happened. I think we're on. So, but I feel like, okay, but it's your movie now. So now I always have the draft of the script that I wrote that I can always go back and read, but my script is not going to be what your finished movie is. Right. So
and that's only Tarantino, right?
Right.
That's only like it's only like when you buy a bootleg script of a Tarantino movie on the streets in New York, they go by the movie and you're like, oh my God, it's exactly the same. I mean, I think the greatest script ever written is Chinatown.
Oh, great script. Right? Yeah.
And when you watch the film, you can watch it with a stopwatch, and like the act breaks literally at 30 minutes and like 20 seconds. I mean, it's a masterful film. It's a perfect movie, but that doesn't mean it's the only perfect movie.
Right.
Right. I mean, it doesn't mean that it isn't the only the only version of a perfect movie. There's a lot of different versions of it, especially in today's age. We're not in that formalism anymore. We're in a postmodern era where you can do radical things. You can twist the medium. I mean, what you can never lose is the sort of like arc of a character, right? Do I want to watch this person for 2 hours in my life?
Right.
That's the key, And
that's
I have enjoyed immensely watching Andy have to take responsibility for every word he writes, because Andy is one of those writers that goes, like a coyote comes on a hill, a raindrop falls on its finger, a mouse walks by and he eats the mouse, leaving the tail. Then he turns and a bald eagle flies by, and then we push down a hill to find our main character. And Andy has learned on this film that everything he writes ends up as a slug, and ends up as a scene.
Somebody's got to make it happen somehow.
Yeah,
and it becomes a budget problem or schedule problem.
And he's learning all of those things. Yeah.
Why did all you guys jump off the live stream? Why aren't you back? No more tequila.
So we're drinking mezcal.
Yeah, it's mezcal.
We only have a couple more minutes. So oh my God, Mark, I miss you so much.
I don't know.
I miss you so much, Mark. And I'm going to see you in January, and we're going to be eating pizza because Lucali. Mark Anconi is my good friend who owns Lucali. I miss you, brother. I can't wait. I'm going to be in New York from January, February, March, and April. We're going to be eating pizza.
That sounds good.
So, anybody have any other questions?
Yeah, what else we got?
We got 2 days left of this film.
2 days left.
2 days left.
And you're like jetting out the very next morning.
I'm leaving at 7 a.m. the next morning to go hug my kids.
I think I have to watch like everybody pull away, and I'm going to be like, nobody wants to.
I haven't seen my kids in 3 weeks, and I'm going crazy.
How many actors did you audition for the lead?
We did not audition anybody. We wrote the part for Letitia Wright, and she said yes on the first call.
Now, that's interesting, because if she didn't, we might have changed it. Right, we talked about. We almost wrote 2 drafts.
There was maybe only 2 actresses that we felt that could play that role, and and luckily she said yes.
Yeah,
so we didn't have to go to Cynthia.
Yeah.
You're allowed to answer this, but is there a time frame for when this film is being released? We don't know. We do have a studio partner. I can't tell you yet, but I would assume it would be released in 2021. My other film, Monster, is coming out in early 2021, which is exciting too. The rest of the casting process, I don't want to describe it, but we're super excited to have had Jamie. Jamie was such a beautiful addition to the cast.
He was so
and
good.
Such a great partner.
So
incredible.
Except he hates puppets.
He hates puppets. So weird, right? Who doesn't love puppets?
One of my favorite moments is like you said to me, you're like, because I guess I just had a puppet in the background of my hotel room or something. You said, now that I've seen a puppet, I don't ever want to not see a puppet.
I didn't know that Andy was a puppeteer, by the way. And one day I was watching one of his YouTube videos, and I was like, he's like 2 doors down from me, and he has like 26 puppets in the room.
Yesterday or a couple of days ago, I escaped off set, and I shot a little scene with one of the puppets for a little web series. We got to take advantage of this location.
What am I doing next? Probably some commercials.
Really? You're not going to do jump on another film?
Well, no. I mean, I'll do some commercials sometime at the top of the year, and
start writing your Oscar speech.
We have a lot of development at Black Hand Inc., which is exciting, and we'll see what comes next. We'll see.
Yeah,
TV and film and all kinds of stuff. Thank you for your time. It was a pleasure working. Yes, Tony, it was a pleasure working with you, man. We loved having you. What are the biggest challenges daily as a director? People ask me that a lot, and they ask me like what the challenge is and also what's the best trait. And I always come back to this word, optimism. Being optimistic as a director. And what I mean by that is like you get beat up and you have successes and you have failures. And some days go perfect and other days are fucking shit. But you gotta wake up in the morning and, take a shower and sit under that water and say like, today's gonna be great. And that's the hardest thing, it's hard to do that day in and day out. It is. It's hard if you're missing scenes or the budget's ramping up or you're late or things aren't cutting or you're not getting performance or there's people that like you or love you or hate you. Like, again, like, is it like my job is not to be liked. I don't go out there and say like, I got to be friends with everybody because, I'm demanding, I'm aggressive. I have a certain energy. Some people like it. Some people don't. It's okay. It is what it is. I've been doing this a long time. I'm going to do this for a long time.
Right.
I don't let any, I try not to be disrespectful. I try to be thankful, but it's hard, man. The sun comes up and it goes down and you're literally, we're it's like being a general, we're fighting.
Well, here's the thing. It's all on you.
Yes.
Right. I mean, if this fails, is Anthony, Anthony did this. If it succeeds, I mean, you also get really all the credit. My
sister Lizzie is now here, and she says that I've shot 450,000 feet of film. And I'm not done. No, I'm not done. It's a lot of footage. I'm getting a lot of footage, but I have no choice because the sun comes up and it goes down, and then what?
So we excited about our last 2 days?
I am. I'm nervous.
Oh, yeah? Well, because there's a lot to get.
It's a lot to get, and we're shooting horses, and horses are very tough. They're incredible animals, but they're specific. It's hard. It's hard you want them to run and to have a certain look and a feel, and it's hard to do it. Someone asked me, how did my kids? I mean, my daughter's been on set her whole life with me, and my son has been on. He's only a year and a half, but my kids are going to grow up on set around me. Of course, that's exciting. I want them to. I grew up around my mom on set in the early '80s.
Is that why you wanted to get into the movies?
It's sort of like, I mean, I studied architecture and I've always been fascinated by architecture, but it's sort of all I ever really wanted to do was be a filmmaker.
Yeah.
You're
a little bit of an adventurer. Right? You've been all over the world and I feel like into some very dangerous situations.
I have a nose for adventure. And as David Manzanares, who's our site rep at Ghost Ranch, says, you have a nose to find the locations. Because I always find the secret little location. What's up? What's over there? Around the corner, up, around, back there, and the thing. He's like, oh yeah,
yeah. Well, I remember you told me you're like, we're gonna shoot at all the places they only shoot the B-roll.
Yeah. Most people, the place we're shooting the film is a place where most people come up to shoot 2 or 3 days. That's it, and just do big wides. We're doing the whole film here. Very lucky. Because we're very far away from the city and we're out in the middle of nowhere, and it works perfectly for COVID, but more than anything, it's visually graphic and beautiful. So.
Do you have anything you do differently?
No, I don't think so. I mean,
that's great.
You go like we were going to make the movie in Canada versus Mexico. You start to do that game a little bit, but that's a different conversation, right? No, I don't think so. What's my favorite line of dialogue from the film? There's this great line that's at the end of the movie, and such a great moment. And I'm not sure it was even written. I don't know if it was.
What was it?
I don't even know your name. That line.
Oh yeah, no, we talked. No, that wasn't in the original script.
It's so good.
Yeah.
They did
but
it.
Jamie and I, yeah. We talked about it a lot. Yeah.
Jamie and Letitia are like off the side rewriting lines. It's great. Yeah. Really,
they are good. And what's great is I'm gonna get all the credit.
Yeah, bag of nails. That's a funny line.
That's a great
bag of nails.
Bag of nails. That's a real thing. That's like saying pig F. You know.
That scene was amazing.
He said it. I can't believe it.
Full snow.
Yeah, it was. It was coming down.
I did not storyboard the movie. I will show you
just a little bit
very quickly
take it over.
so you can see it. I did storyboard one scene.
This is pretty cool because I'm in it. This is my scene.
You guys can see this. This is one of the action sequences, so you can see everything of the red line we've shot. It's 150 frames, I think. And then you can see all the stuff that we're shooting the next 2 days.
Is this me?
That's you right there. That's you. That's you. Yeah, all you.
Yeah.
That's you.
This was the most fun I've ever had in my entire. You realize that you've given me the most fun I've ever had in my entire life.
Young Guru, what up, man? I got the best stories about Young Guru.
This is pretty cool. So you only seen storyboarded, and we had to because of horses and all kinds of stuff.
Doing this, doing that. And I'm always saying, it always starts with a phone call and a plane ticket, and I end up in a studio, and I look over, and there's Young Guru every single time.
I don't know what they're talking about.
Anyway, folklore, hip-hop folklore.
I saw Rihanna at one point. Actually, my friend Chandler pointed out to me that Rihanna was like, I want to come to set.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, well, you know people.
Yeah. Yeah, she definitely was reaching out a bunch.
I had that
Facts. It's right. I remember early days, Guru. I remember early days. It must have been the first time I heard Lost Ones, one of those records. And I remember going to the studio, the old rock studios, and you and I connected so well. And it was me and you and Tata and Jay Brown, and then like, who's that guy? Oh, that's Ebro. Who's Ebro? Oh, and then you sort of like, that was the 4 or 5 people that were repetitively in the room over and over again. People ask me that question all the time. Like, what's it like? What were those moments like? What was the first time you heard Run This Town? What was the first time you heard DOA? And I'm like, it always starts in a room with Guru. Always. I'll always cherish that. Those were great times.
Who's Marissa Mandler?
Oh, my sister.
She wants to be in your show. She wants to be in your life.
I'm not putting her Marissa in my life. Hi, Marissa. I love
Sorry,
her.
Marissa. I tried.
I love her. My sister.
He's on his
my
Instagram live.
both my sisters. Both my sisters are in here. Lizzie and Marissa. All right, guys.
Well, we got to get up in the morning.
We got 2 more days of this movie, and that's it. Where are all your friends?
I don't know. There we go. Nobody talks about old Guru.
Oh no, we all love the old Guru.
You got to put Vinny in something. You would love this kid. I got to show you this kid. He's in New York.
Okay.
He's crazy character, man. He's just the kind of guy you would hire for something. I miss nepotism. I don't know what that means.
What do you mean you know what that means, Marissa? It says that you're trying to get in my. You're like it's a request to be in the live. Anyway, it's 10 o'clock. What's your call tomorrow?
It's 6 a.m. I got to be there. It's one of my later calls.
That is late. Mine's 7 a.m.
Yeah. So we got to go. Well, thanks for joining us. Find me on YouTube, Andy Makes Movies, Andy Pagan on Instagram. And thanks for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe, like these other videos. Keep looking at Surrounded. Looking for us. We'll be soon accepting our Oscars.
Trav, I will not be riding the horse at all. That doesn't. But I can ride a horse, but I won't be.
I can't, and I won't be either.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
See you later.